Have you ever walked out of an interview and thought to yourself, that did not go well at all? Well, you're not alone. We've all been there. We've all done interviews that we bombed. There wasn't a connection with the recruiter. We've all been there. But in this video, I'm going to go over some of the telltale signs that the interview really didn't go in your favor and that it might be time to move on and really double down on other opportunities. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new, welcome. This channel is all about helping you succeed in the job hunting process. So let's dive into the telltale signs that your job interview didn't go well. In general, a recruiter will dedicate X amount of time for each interview. They want to have a few minutes before to prepare, time for the interview itself, and then time afterwards to kind of review everything to see how you stack up against other applicants. It depends on the job you're looking at, how long this might be. For a very senior role, it could be upwards of an hour. If it's a more entry-level junior role, it could be, as short as 15, 20 minutes. But there's always a dedicated amount of time given to the interview. Each interview is fairly well structured, or should be well structured. Well, they want to cover certain things with you. If you feel that the interview is rushed, that you can anticipate how much time you should be there for. If it felt that that time was cut really short, that's an indication that the recruiter wanted to wrap things up as quickly as possible. The second sign is getting a sense that the interviewer wasn't really engaged in the process or wasn't engaged in the interview. They didn't ask you follow-up questions. They really didn't pick pieces out of your resume to ask you to elaborate further. For many of you that have seen panel interviews, now panel interviews themselves can be very, very daunting, where it's you alone against 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 interviewers, each one from a different function or different department. If you get a sense that the others are really acting as if they want to be somewhere else, they're not asking questions, they're looking at you blankly, a sign of disengagement is where they've potentially lost that connection with you as an applicant. So watch out for how engaged the interviewer is. And in the case of a panel interview, watch out for how much interaction there is from other participants, not just from the lead interviewer. Another sign that an interview hasn't gone well is when the interviewer isn't sharing much information about the job. They're not diving into the details about what you'll be doing, who you'll be working with, who you'll be reporting to. They won't sell the company. Now, for top applicants that the interviewer is very interested in, they'll want to make sure that you're as interested in the position as possible and interested in the company as much as possible. So they'll sell the company to you. If they're not doing that, if they're not sharing a lot of details about the role, about who you'll be working with, the team, what the company's plans and growth projections are, if they're not selling you on the benefits, that's another sign that really they're considering somebody else. Now, at the end of every interview I did, if I was really interested in an applicant, I would make sure that I would keep them as engaged in the process as much as possible. So I would definitely let them know what the time frame was for making a decision and when they could hear back. If you receive something very watered down, such as, we still got other applicants to see, this might take a little while to get through, other people have to make a decision. If there's no real sense that they want to wrap this up as soon as possible and they want to let you know as quickly as possible, again, another sign that the interview hasn't gone really in your favor. Now, something I recommend that a lot of applicants do, especially if they're more junior, when they're going into an interview, perhaps for the first time, is to somehow ask for some feedback. Ask for any input into, so I would recommend to an applicant to say, how am I faring compared to other applicants? Is there anything else that you want to know? Try and solicit as much feedback as possible. But if you're finding that you're doing that and they're being very vague and they're not really answering any questions, then chances are that they don't really have a lot of intention in moving forward with your application. So in a nutshell, things to watch out for Is the interviewer showing a lot of engagement in the process itself, in the interview itself? Has the interview been rushed? Are they asking you lots of questions on your resume? Are they asking you questions about, what do you think you could do for the company? Are they showing a general lack of interest? Are they not giving you really any feedback into, how you compare to other applicants? How, are they showing any information as to how they feel the interview went? And are they sharing with you what the next steps are? If you're leaving with a firm indication that this is going to be wrapped up within the next week, that you can expect to hear by email, by phone, they'll tell you if they'll call you themselves personally. That's a good sign. But if they're just saying, we have other people to see, we'll let you know as soon as possible. At this point, I think it's a good indication of the interview not having really, really gone too well. If you've gone through any of these, if you've experienced any of these signs, these indicators, you know what? At the end of the day, we can't win every single interview we do. All we can do is give it our best shot. Go in with a well-prepared resume, go in with a few key answers to some of the BDI questions that they may pose. Give it your best shot. But at the end of the day, it's like any interaction, any relationship, it's not always going to work out. But recognizing the signs, knowing, if it really went well or not, will let you focus on those other opportunities that you're interested in. So don't be too disheartened if the interview wasn't, the best one you've ever done. If the interviewer really didn't buy into your candidacy, it happens to absolutely everybody. So don't become too discouraged. Don't become disheartened. It happens. Move on to the next one. So I hope you got some value from these tips or these signs of the interview not going well. If you did, I'd really appreciate you hitting the thumbs up and the subscribe button. And until the next time, best of luck with your applications and take care of yourself.